Good morning, YouTube. What's up? Back at you with another video. Early in the morning. God. Hey, on my daily program to get up, I'm going to work, get my work done, get off, come back home, and do it all over again. Yep. Back and forth. Anyway, it's raining outside. And you know, this rain put heaviness on them leaves, and them leaves fall off them trees. Oh man, that kind of rhymed. Yeah. It's raining. It's a little windy outside. A great recipe to bring down the rest of those leaves off the trees. Got a few more calls for some leaf services. Just wanted to make a video about how do you charge for your leaf service? Do you charge by the hour versus having just a flat fee that you charge the customer? I'm gonna tell you what I do. Majority of the time, I charge a flat fee. And I calculate a lot of the things that go into that, as far as the time it's probably gonna take me. I charge like it's two people working. I always charge like it's two people working. That way you know that if you're solo and you're doing this, that you're making some type of money, some type of profit. Hold on, let me get this window right. I need to put on my defrost. You know, people get crazy out here when it starts raining. So, but I charge my customers a flat fee, but like I said, I charge like it's two people working. So my man rate goes up like it's two people working. I charge like it's two people working. So if I ever do have somebody working with me, I done already calculated that in. And on top of that, since I calculated that in, then when I'm working solo, I know that I'm making some sort of profit on my yard, if you get what I'm saying. And if it's two people, man, charge like it's three people working. That way you got that extra that you know that you're making to kind of reinforce, or you're going to make sure that you're making some type of profit or some type of money off whatever service that you're doing. That leaf job, you know, that mulch job, that, you know, sod job. Usually people that's doing side jobs and all that stuff, they kind of already been doing it for a while, so they know exactly how much it costs to put down each pallet of sod. So they done already calculated and got, it's basically the experience that you have. It's the experience that you have. But anyway, back to the leaves. We're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna go back to the leaves. So with the leaves, I charge like it's two people. So, and I charge a flat fee. So usually I start out, my minimum is $425. Now, I have some reoccurring customers that I might have did it for $375, something like that, my last price that I used to charge. I might still charge them that same price that following year just to keep the business, keep my books filled with work. So if I can make, especially if I'm mulching up the leaves, if I can make $375 just mulching up the leaves and I don't have to raise the price on them, I'll just keep it there until the next following year. And I might bump up the price a little bit. I might do 10 or 20 bucks extra. I might put 20% onto it. But most likely you're not getting a leaf job out of me unless you're paying $375 and up. But technically my new minimum is $425, which has been working for me. And that's on average yards or yards that I've done, and then I bumped up the price, due to, the years of them being at $375 or something like that, or my previous charges that I was charging them. But yeah, all in all, now you got some guys that do it by the hour, which I think doing it by the hour is great too. The only time I would try to calculate my leaves by the hour is if it's a big property. I would tell the customer, I would say, hey, look, you got a big property, you got a lot of leaves, I'm gonna have to charge you by the hour. Now I'm gonna start thinking about charging them my man rate, which would probably be $75 to $80, sometimes $90. I would charge if I got somebody working with me. So if I'm charging $80 per man per hour, if I got 2 to 3 guys with me, let's just say I got 2 guys with me, or it's just me and another person, that's 80 plus 80 is 160. So now I'm charging $160 an hour to pick up your leaves. And however long it takes us, that's how long it takes us. And then I'll tell them, look, I'm gonna have to charge you $160 an hour to get these leaves picked up, and within 3 hours of doing work, I will let you know where we're at on your property as far as cleaning up. I've done this before on a bigger property, and I've done it before in the beginning stages of doing leaves because I wasn't familiar with pricing and things like that. So I would just charge by the hour. If you're not sure, it's best to just charge by the hour if you're not sure about your pricing. That way you don't get screwed. You'll make some money and you won't shoot yourself in the foot by doing leaves, because leaves are very tricky. Like right now, it's raining. People are going to be calling to do leaves Saturday, Sunday. They're going to want it done Monday. So it's going to rain. It rained yesterday and it rained all night last night. The leaves are wet, especially the ones on top. The leaves are wet. And if you went out the next day to try to do leaves, you better hope that, the wind is like drying out the leaves and things like that, because because it's going to take you longer to do those leaves. It's going to take you longer. So if you're doing it by the hour, then you're fine. If you're charging by the hour, then you're fine. Because you know that you're charging $160 an hour. And if it takes you, once you get to 3 hours, you say, hey, look, it's 3 hours. We probably got about maybe 2 hours left to go. Do you want me to continue? Most likely they're going to say, yeah, go ahead and finish up. Okay, we got 2 to 3 more hours. See how I added that 3? We got 2 to 3 more hours. You done already did 3 hours. Now you got about, a big leaf job is going to take you about, it just depends on how big the property is. I've been on a property where there was a ton of leaves, and it was an average size home, and it took me 5 hours to do one time because I was planning on having somebody working with me, and it took me 5 hours. Luckily, I charged for 2 people within my estimate as far as my rate, and I didn't lose any money. It just took me longer to do. I was supposed to make a lot of money on that job because instead of being done in 5 hours by myself, I could have been done in 2.5 hours. But, that's the way the ball bounces sometimes in business. But like I said, leaves can be tricky, and it's wet outside, and you're gonna be getting calls saying, can you come do my leaves? And now, this is when I would bump up my price. So if I did a yard for $425, and I know that I'm coming in and it rained, and your mower or whatever is going to get all crappy, it's going to take you longer to blow the leaves, everything's going to be sticky, it's going to be wet, it's going to be nasty. $425 just jumped up to $450. $25, but now you add $450 for this plus tax. So now your minimum is $450. See how I do that? All due to the fact that it might take you a little bit longer, or you might have to add on a little bit at the end. And as long as you tell the customer that, like, look, I could either wait, but this is the thing too, if you wait, there might be a day where it just gets too cold or it snows. So now you can't even do the leaf job until you get that one day that out of the ordinary, that the temperature is like 40 degrees outside. It might jump up to 50. Oh man, let me hurry up and do these leaves. And you might catch a break. So you got to tell the customer, look, these leaves are wet. I know I quoted you at $425, but I'm gonna have to quote you at $475 and see how that goes. Or see how I did that? $475. How you jump up from $450 to $475? You gotta do it sometime. You gotta do it. Hey, this job will make you rethink things if you out there all day long doing leaves, where you kicking yourself in the butt because you didn't price it right, or you didn't charge enough, or it's taking you so long that you like, man, I'm losing money on this job. That's why you got to charge the right price for leaves. Otherwise, you're going to be kicking yourself in the butt. I've done it before over the years when I first started doing leaves. So now I keep it at a base Man, I started out at $275 doing leaves. Then I jumped up to, then I was kicking myself. I say, man, this is too much. I'm like, I need to bump my thing up $100. Then I went up to $325. Then I was getting like, man, I'm getting a lot of people. So I'm like, I could charge more because, man, my books are, I got it filled up. So now I can cherry pick the yards and give prices like, hey, it's gonna be $375. Okay, can you do it? So man, I was stuck at $375, and it's a fair price. $375 is a fair price. Don't get it twisted, thinking that $375 is a lot of money. Oh my God, it's, man, you're gouging your customer. No, man. Especially if you got these guys out here, if you're just starting and you're actually raking leaves. Oh Lord, I've seen guys out there raking leaves. They can't really afford the blowers and stuff like that. They can't really afford the blowers and stuff like that with them heavy leaves. If you got a little blower or a little handheld blower with wet leaves, you're toast. It ain't working. Don't even do the yard. Don't even do the yard. You could get away with the little handheld. You could get away with some of these handheld blowers. Not saying that they don't got any power. They got a little bit of power, but not like the big blowers. But the only way you can use those little blowers is if those leaves are nice, dry, and crisp. Otherwise, forget it. Forget it. You ain't moving no leaves. And if you moving leaves with that, it's like an inch at a time. You ain't blowing it inches like you're doing with the Red Max or the BR800 or the PB 8010 or 8090 or 9010. I think it's the PB 9010. Somebody told me to look into a blower, the Husqvarna blower. Is it the 560 or the 570? Something like that. They said it's like the Red Max. I got to look into that because I like Husqvarna. And if you could get a blower that's equivalent to like the Red Max and all that stuff like the other ones, man, that's usually when you listen to the numbers, you're like, oh man, that don't seem like that's a powerful blower. The Husqvarna 680 or whatever it is. You're like, man, that's a 680? Man, you got the PB90, the PB 9010 or the PB 8010. But you just stuck on those numbers because they're large numbers and stuff. But they said the Husqvarna backpack blower, the big boy Husqvarna backpack blower is just as good as like the Red Max and them. So I got to look into that. My very first blower was a Husqvarna. Yep. And then I started getting the Echo. I had the Echo 580 and 760 or 780 or something, what it was, when all my stuff got stolen. Those went bye-bye. And then by the time I ended up upgrading because the other blowers came out. So yeah. But yeah, guys, a flat fee or you charge by the hour. And I would probably stick with your man rate. You should at least be getting $70 per man when you're working on a job. 70 to 75. I would even go as low. Your minimum should be $75 minimum per man. and then bump that mug up to 80 and 90 bucks per man. You'll be doing great then, if you can do that. But yeah, $160 per hour to do leaves. So let's say if that's me, that's why I just do a flat fee for my regular yards, because like I said, I've been doing them a while, so I kind of know what's going to make me some money, and I know how long it takes. It takes me by myself to do an average yard 2 hours. 2 hours minimum by myself. On an average yard, 2 hours minimum. Maybe 2.5 hours minimum. Let's just keep it simple. Solo by myself, doing a nice average yard with leaf coverage. That's mulching up leaves, pushing leaves to the front yard, pushing leaves from the backyard to the front yard, mulching them up. There's different ways that I do it to make it look like a clean look. There's different ways, but when I'm done with that yard, that yard is going to be free of leaves. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not getting every single leaf in that yard. I'm not there to do that. But it's going to look clean to the point where I'm going to do a good job. Just put it like that. Go check out some of my videos. You'll see some of my leaf service jobs from what it looked like to when I'm done. And on the average, it takes me about two hours. And then if I'm videotaping or doing something like that, it'll take me 2 hours and 30 minutes if I'm messing around with the video or whatever the case is. And then if I got somebody helping me, you slice that in half. I keep the same price, but I got somebody working with me because I done already calculated myself and a phantom person working with me. I look at myself as doing double work, so I charge double. And then when I do have somebody working with me, I just plug and play. I might bump it up a little bit more. I might just keep it the same, depending on the situation, if the leaves are wet or dry. That's a big factor. If the leaves are wet or dry, that your price might go up. I don't care what the circumstance is. If your leaves are wet, your price most likely is going to go up. Now, I can tell the customer, hey, we can wait a couple of days. I done looked at the forecast, and it's going to be dry in the next couple of days. I could try to get your leaves taken care of then instead of trying to do it now. Your price will stay the same as what I quoted you at. But if I do them today, I'm going to have to add an extra $50 to it, or add an extra $75. You see how I did that? Add an extra $75 because it's going to take me a little bit longer. Are you okay with that? Do you approve of that? They'll say, yeah, go right ahead. If they want it done that day, because you're there on the property, they just want to get their leaves done. They'll say, okay, yeah, that's fine. And man, bust your butt to do a good job, get the leaves done, and collect an extra $75 on top of what you quoted them. Because if you don't, you're going to be kicking yourself in the butt. All right, guys, I'm out. I'll see you on the next video. Hey, don't forget to, if you stuck around this long, I appreciate you. I appreciate you rocking with me. I really do. Leave some comments. Tell me how you do your leaf service. Do you charge by the hour, or do you just give them a flat fee? Or do you do both? I do both. And it depends on how big the yard is. If I know that it's going to take me a long time, or it's say for instance, if it's an acre and you got all these little obstacles going on, or they just want this done and that done, and you got to go out by the fence line and blow this and blow that. It's not just a clean cut, normal leaf cleanup. Then I'm charging by the hour. But if it's my everyday yard, $7,500 to $8,500 square feet of yard, or whatever the case is, I'm charging you a flat fee, because I done already did yards like this before, and I didn't already know that I'm going to be profitable on a yard by charging you that $300 to $425 per service. So yeah. Anyway, guys, let me know how you guys charge. Leave a comment. Just let me know how you do your leaves, how you charge for your leaves. Do you do a flat fee, or do you charge by the hour? A lot of guys, just to stay on the safe side, if you're just beginning, I would come up with a man rate and charge by the hour. That way you stay out of trouble as far as, going over an hour and you're still doing leaves. You thought you was going to be done in 2 hours, and you it seemed like you're going to be done in 3 to 4 hours, and you lose money on the job. So you best, when you first starting out, I would recommend you do it by the hour. Figure out a man rate. If it's just you, charge double, like you got somebody working with you. And then if you do have somebody working with you, just plug and play and get the job done. You're going to get the job done even faster when it's actually 2 of you. You're going to get the job done faster, so you're going to still make money. But when you're doing it solo and you charge double, like somebody's working with you, then that's just a good way to cover your butt and to plug and play when somebody else is actually working with you. So don't be afraid to, you overcharging like somebody. No, because this is probably a typical price that you would charge anyway if somebody was working with you. So the customer is still getting that charge, whether it's you or 2 people. Or now if you start getting 3 people with you, then you got to bump the price up even more, because now you got a third person with you. So leaves could be tricky. You better price it accordingly. And like I said, if you're just starting out, I would figure out a man rate per hour and then charge them that per hour, so you stay out of trouble as far as going over and not making the money that you're supposed to on a leaf job. Hey, leaves suck, especially when they wet. Leaves suck. I'm telling you. So charge accordingly. All right, guys, I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope you can kind of decipher and pick out some jewels or some advice that I was giving you. If you have any questions, leave the questions at the bottom. Comments. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. I'm out.